Hi, everyone. Thank you so much once again for joining in today's webinar, which is based for healthcare opportunities in the UK. We'll be having our guest, Mr. Tanveer Ratan, who will be joining us today from UK itself. And he has over 12 years of experience in healthcare industry. He is the talent recruiting manager from UK itself. So he'll be joining in soon. So please stay tuned. And one request before this webinar, everyone, kindly place yourself on mute. And in case if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box. And one more information I would like to give it to everyone, to all the audience today. This webinar is not for overseas nurses. This is strictly for healthcare opportunities in the UK. So local opportunities for nurses, nursing professional in the UK. So we have our guest, Tanveer Ratan from UK itself. Again, I'd like to introduce Tanveer. Hi, Tanveer.
Hello there. Hello, everybody.
Hello. Thank you so much once again, Tanveer, for joining in today. I was just giving a brief introduction about you to the audience. So we have Tanveer here from Nursify. He's been there in the industry of healthcare recruitment from past 12 years. Thank you so much, Tanveer, once again for joining in today.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Great. So Tanveer, I was just briefing up the audience that, today's webinar is completely based upon healthcare opportunities in the UK. We are not taking this webinar for overseas nurses, and this will be completely based for local opportunities in the UK.
Yeah.
And if any one of you have any questions regarding any opportunities or any requirements, please place them in the chat box. We'll be taking it one by one during the webinar or in the end of the session. Thank you so much, everyone, once again. Great, Tanveer. Let's start this webinar for today. So Tanveer, let's start from a first question. If you can just quickly, tell us what is the healthcare market or what kind of opportunities are present in the UK?
Well, if we're basically basing it all on the nursing side of things, there's a it's a vast amount of opportunities here in the UK. When you graduate, some people want to go into like healthcare assistants, or then go into like the nursing homes, dealing with dementia patients and elderly care patients. Primarily, what we do here at Nursify is look after the private organizations, the private hospital sector, where it's a lot more the operating theatre side of things. So, the opportunities that we basically look after mainly is, the registered nurses, the theatre nurses, the lead practitioners. Alongside the nursings, it will be, radiographers, physiotherapists, as well as the engineering side of things as well. So opportunity.
Tanveer, I'm so sorry, you were on mute. We can't hear you.
I don't know what happened there. So sorry about that. Okay. Was I on mute from the beginning, or did I?
No, just right now.
Oh, okay. I don't know what happened there. So yeah, it's a vast amount of opportunities there, ranging from registered nurses. If people specialize into the theatres, then it will be general theatre practitioners within recovery, scrub, and then the orthopedics, as well as anaesthetic side of things. Then you have positions within, radiographers, as well as physiotherapists as well. So within the whole hospital sector, there's positions within all specialties as a registered nurse. Now you're on mute.
Wonderful, Tanveer. Thank you so much. So could you please explain, Tanveer, what are the basic requirements for a nursing professional to get a nurse job? So what is the experience required? What kind of basic cases, not exactly cases, but what are the basic qualification, educational or experience wise?
Well, educational wise, the good thing about the UK They do take overseas nurses who have got degrees in their home countries, India, Nepal, Philippines, Australia, whatever. But the main requirements that our clients are looking for is someone who has at least 6 months NHS or private hospital experience, hospital settings, not care homes, not nursing homes, only hospital settings experience. That could range from registered nurses, or as they've come in as a scrub nurse or a theatre practitioner, and so on. So you have to have at least a minimum of 6 months UK NHS or private hospital setting experience as a nurse. Only as a nurse, not as a HCA or a carer.
Okay, Tanvir. Well, that's clear enough. But Tanvir, can you also tell, we this webinar is strictly focused on UK locals, right?
Yes.
Someone who's there in the UK and have at least year of experience, but for someone who shouldn't require an a sponsorship. So if you can just explain that part to the audience, so that in case if we have queries, anyone want to apply, they should be clear enough that what kind of opportunities we are providing, in this, according to this webinar.
Yeah, certainly. So we are only focusing on domestic recruitment. So what domestic means is people that who are already in the UK, working in the UK, who have indefinite leave to remain, or they're on a spouse sponsorship with at least 2 years left on their visa. So that basically means if their partner is the main dependent visa holder and you're on a spouse visa, but you have UK experience, worked in the NHS or private hospitals within for at least 6 to 12 months, then we are able to help you find a position here in the UK. So just round it up again. You need to be a citizen in the UK, British passport holder, or have a indefinite leave to remain, or on a spouse visa for a minimum 2 years with at least 6 to 12 months NHS or private hospital experience.
Wonderful, Tanvi. Thank you so much. I believe now our audience have an idea about, what are the requirements at the moment. So, Tanvi, there are a lot of, people who come to us and ask, why should we go for private? Why not NHS? If you can just, explain that to our audience, like why should they prefer private healthcare group? How are they treated? What is the culture?
Mm.
And so, yeah.
See, the number one thing is you want to be in any workplace, you want to be valued for your work. I'm not saying the NHS do not value you, but the NHS is the national hospital organization of the UK. So the amount of cases and amount of foot flow and amount of patients that they get on a day-to-day basis, you will tend to find yourself as any number within the hospital organization. You will get, you'll be overworked in a sense in the NHS, whereas in the private organization is a lot more regimented, is a lot more structured, and you are dealing with scheduled cases supposed to emergency cases, like people have just come in with this issue or that issue. Everything within the private sector is appointment based only. They would only deal with certain cases at certain given of time. You will have a good work-life balance. You're not going to be overworked. You will be paid more than an NHS as well. NHS candidate or employee, I should say, and you'll get a lot more. And the pension benefits and everything is all there as well, and you'll get private healthcare for yourself as well as your family as well.
Great, that's great. Now, I believe now everyone have a clarity why they should go for private hospital and not NHS. And yes, thank you so much, Tanvir, for answering that question. So, Tanvir, can you please explain now? My next question is around the working culture.
Yeah.
What is the working culture? What is the work environment in the private hospitals?
Well, the working culture in the private hospitals are, you got a like I said, you got a fantastic work-life balance. That's the mainly thing. In the NHS, it's more of a numbers game. You've got you may be overstaffed in a particular department, and you've got a number of patients walking in every single day, so you're going to be overworked. In the private organization, you know exactly what cases you have on a day-to-day basis, what operating theaters that you're going to go on. Okay, you've got 2 operatings this week, this day. So you can psychologically and mentally prepare yourself for that days to come. So it's going to be a lot more stress-free, and you're going to be with a great team. There is a vast amount of candidates, nurses who are from geographical areas of the country as well. So that's a good thing about it. So you're going to be able to relate with people who are from certain areas or maybe in the same area as yourself as well. Um, so you're going to find a lot of similarities, in culture, but the work-life balance, I would say, is a lot more relaxed, but in depth, if that makes sense, than the NHS.
Great, Tanvi. That's great. I'm sure everyone would want to work in such a workplace where there is more diversity. Everyone has great way of understanding each other, good communication, and better management, right? And so does private hospitals provide that. So
Exactly
that's
that.
really great. What
Exactly.
what are the salary structure and shift timings, Tanvi, in private healthcare groups?
Shift timings, so the good thing about the private sector compared to the NHS is like the private sector do not like to overwork the nurses. They only, our work life here in the UK is 37 and a half hours per week. And that can base from 9 till 5, 10 till 6, 12 to 8, with a half an hour or an hour break. Pay structure, I can see someone just put a message there. What is the pay like? Pay is it is more than the NHS, whereas the starting for NHS band 5 nurses, if I remember correctly, it's around the 24 to 26,000 per year. And whereas the starting for the registered nurses, their class as band 5 in the private sector, starting is around 30 to 35,000 pounds per year. So you could see, a good, 5 to 8,000 pounds difference per year that you're going to be, making. So that extra money, as well as the great management and great work-life balance, as well as timings, you know, it will definitely, be rewarding for the nurses who are wanting to work in the private sector.
Okay, perfect. That's great, Tanvi. Apart from the salary structure, are there any additional benefits, that are more attractive, which a nurse should consider?
I would say the number one benefits that the private sector offers is private pension. I'm not a private pension, private healthcare. Um, I don't know if you guys, keep up with like the waiting times here um, in the NHS. When you go through the, general practice or even go to the NHS, you tend to be waiting, you know, if you go in with a broken arm, you have to wait at least 8 to 10 hours just to get seen sometimes and get dealt with. Whereas in the private side of things, everything's done within a couple of hours. They really, really, really look after you. So the private healthcare is the number one benefit, I would think, would be the number one, like to be the beneficial of working in a private organization. That too, as well as career development. I can see some messages saying they did a help with career. 100%. The career development, what they do within the private organization is fantastic.
We'll
The
take, sorry to interrupt you, then we will take all the questions,
Oh, okay,
one by
after.
one, so that
Okay, no worries. I just see it
everyone.
pop up, so I just saw that. So
I know, we have a lot of
yeah.
questions coming in. We'll
Um,
take that one by one.
no worries.
Yes.
But yeah, going back on that, I would say the private healthcare for yourself as well as your family is probably the number one benefit in working in the private organization.
Perfect. Now let's quickly take some of the questions here that we have, starting from the beginning. What do you mean by local opportunities? Okay, so someone, and it's an iPhone user. I can't see the name. So Tanvir, we've already, to inform the audience what local opportunities means, which is domestic hiring, basically,
Yes.
right? So we
Yes.
are currently, this webinar is focused on domestic recruitment in the UK itself.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, next we have from Gagandeep Kaur. I'm a skilled tier 2 visa band 5 through an agency. So can I apply in an NHS? I am waiting for my PIN number. Okay, so Gagandeep, yes, you can apply in the NHS and you will be counted under overseas nurse at the moment, because yeah, I believe you are under tier 2 visa. So yes, you can apply, but for now, the opportunities that we are offering is mostly private healthcare groups at the moment. Okay, so next we have Danila. What about overseas nurses? Don't they have an opportunity now? Again, Danila, I believe I've answered that question. We do have opportunities, but for now, we are more focused on local, which is domestic recruitment process, domestic opportunities. However, I'll drop my email address in this chat. You can just share your CV and other relevant documents, and our team will take it from there. Okay. So what's the pay like? So Tanvir, you've already taken that question. Maybe just give the same information once
Yeah,
again to
yeah.
the
So,
audience.
so the pay, I would say, it is relatively higher than the NHS. As a registered nurse, band 5, NHS equivalent, you're going to be looking anywhere between £5,000 to £8,000 extra per year. The timings are 37 and a half hours per week. Sometimes it will be on a shift pattern basis, whereas you will know your rota a month in advance. So you'll know this week you're doing 9 till 5, the following week you're doing 12 to 8, 1 week you're doing 4 nights or 5 nights, and so on. So it is only 37 and a half hours per week is how to do it, but the pay is much higher than the NHS, depending on which you're banding and what your specialty is.
Great. That's great. Again, then we have a question. What about job security as private?
Job security, it's next to none. It's one thing about private is they want to retain, they want to keep the nurses within their organization to help them develop, as well as step up in their career and go through their particular specialties, what they're kind of looking for. Um, you know, they value themselves as being the top tier, so they do not like a high turnover of staff compared to the NHS, because they want to keep their and retain their nurses within the actual trust, who build up relationships with their patients as well as management, and help them with their career. So there's always fantastic job securities within the private organization, depending you are, you are, you are clinically skilled and you're doing your job fantastically as well.
Okay, that's great. So what about the, again, it's the same question you were about to answer. It's, do private hospitals help in career development?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They are all about helping, nurses develop into their particular specialties. I'll give you an example. We've just got a lead. We've got a lead theatre nurse who is placed in a private hospital, who's going to be doing her surgical first assistant certificate. Her current NHS hospital is not willing to fund it or help her with the training. this was her number one requirement finding another position. So this private organization has confirmed that they would, one, fund it, help pay for the certificate, and help her with her training, and give her the, you know, give her all the help and support that she needs to get that certificate and help her with her career going forward. So yes, they do help with career development depending on which specialties you are going into.
That's great. I mean, that's quite, quite a perk, working in the private healthcare sector. So that's really nice to know that your career is not taken for granted, and there is equal and timely opportunities for career development, I believe. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So while this question is there, then I'll take other few questions as well. Do you believe, are there any challenges or anything you can recall for healthcare professionals, in private healthcare group?
Um, I would say what challenges that they find, I would say maybe on a like a day to day when they're dealing with certain cases, but from the nurses that we've spoken to and how they're getting on and everything, I would say they haven't really found that many challenges as such, because the team and the management has been fantastic. They've helped them, they've guided them, they've advised them as well on how to deal with certain cases and help them without their career. Um, yeah, I wouldn't say we've been much challenges that nurses have faced, I would say,
Perfect.
compared to working in the NHS, it's been very, streamlined, regimented, and not as manic as certain hospitals have been out there.
That's great. I believe that's what everyone is looking out these days. A good working culture, no challenges, and timely opportunities, good pay. I believe proper shift timings, and that's all what what private hospitals are providing at the moment. So
100%. Yeah,
why not go for the private healthcare groups? Perfect.
exactly, exactly.
Great. So we have a question from Nisha. How can we apply in NES being an overseas nurse? I'm really sorry, Nisha, I didn't get that question. If you can just reiterate it and put it in the chat box, and we'll be happy to take that. What are the opportunities for mental health nurses? Tanvir, do we have any opportunities at the moment?
Unfortunately, we don't as of yet, because the clients that we're dealing with are only deal with the acute settings, nothing with the mental health settings, I'm afraid. But hopefully, in the near future, we'll be able to, deal with RMNs, mental health nurses, within the private hospitals or within private nursing homes. But unfortunately, we are unable to help you with that right now.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Then we have a question from Zaid and Nisha. Both of the questions are kind of similar. Zaid is asking, I'm an overseas nurse with 2 years experience in ICU and emergency. Also have cleared CBT and OET. And
Mm.
then we have, does nurse if I do overseas recruitment? Okay. So both of these questions are mostly, Tanveer, for overseas recruitment. And then I believe, yes, we are hiring for overseas nurses. It's not stopped, but this vertical, this webinar, this, specific webinar is mostly based for domestic opportunities. But in
Yeah.
case if you would like to get your CV reviewed, check your options, I'll just gonna, drop my email address. One second. Hello at nursify.co.uk. Kindly drop your CVs on this email at this email address, and we'll be happy to take that. Okay. Then we have, should we wait for NHS or do we start process for other countries? Zed, okay, then maybe you would like to take this, question.
Well, personally, the way that I read it, it all kind of depends on your personal circumstances. If you really want to work in the UK and work in the NHS, I wouldn't stop applying. I would still continue doing so. But if you are open to moving to other countries, like I don't know, Australia, America, Canada, do not don't stop your job search there. Continue to do so. Um, I know the NHS at the moment have put a hold on overseas nurses at the moment. So that could be, a bit of a downer on a lot of nurses who are in the UK want to get into the NHS. But it all depends on your personal circumstances, I would say. So yeah, continue,
Right.
continue, continue applying, keep your options open, and just hope for the best, I would say.
Perfect, Tanvir. And yes, that we do have, in fact, Nursify, we do have opportunities in various other countries. At the moment, we are also providing opportunities in the UAE, USA, and soon we'll be having Canada and Australia onboarded in like next few months. So if you are prepared, if you have the relevant qualification, reach out to us and we'll be happy to place you somewhere. Okay, next we have another question. Do you hire from Cleveland,
Did you
London?
apply for Cleveland, London? Cleveland, London, we do not hire with them directly, I'm afraid. No, there are a different private organization, but we do deal with, we do hire for a like-to-like private organization who've
No,
got.
sorry to interrupt you, Tanvir. I believe the question is, do we have a opportunity? Maybe I'm just thinking in
Yeah,
Cleveland,
Cleveland.
London
I think.
place
Yeah, do
in
you
that
hire?
location.
No, Cleveland, London. Cleveland, London. I believe that's a private hospital. So
Okay,
yeah, yeah. So Cleveland is a private hospital group who have got sites in London. So yeah, unfortunately, we don't hire for them. No.
okay, perfect, perfect. Are you hiring nurses from Nepal as well? So, Barsha, yes, we are hiring nurses. It only depends upon the requirement, what kind of requirements that we are getting. To be honest, everyone, we are currently slow on overseas recruitment, which is for especially ward nurses. For operation theater nurses, we do have quite few requirements, but soon it's picking up in next few days. We are starting to get more of overseas opportunities, so we'll be taking care of it. So don't worry about that. And next we have, hello ma'am, Tejaswini is asking, hello ma'am, I'm a dentist in India. Can I apply as a dental nurse? Okay, so Tejaswini, definitely please reach out to us, drop us your CV. Okay, and again, this is an overseas recruitment. I'll be happy to take your queries and get your CV reviewed. See what qualifications, if you have relevant qualifications, we'll take it from there. We'll be able to provide you more opportunities. Okay, last two questions, Tanvir, and then we'll just continue with a few questions that we have left with. Sonia is asking, I already cleared OET and it's going to expire. Can I take OSCE over there before the expiry? If I'm having NMC pin, is that easy for the job search?
Um, Having NMC pen is it all depends. To get into the NHS, yes, it will be because it will, shorten the time to get for the client to wait for you to, go through the process and doing so. But if I remember correctly, now you need to do the OSCE you'll get an OSCE once you get a placement. So so the OET you'll need to find a placement, then do your OSCE, then you can get your NMC pin, if I remember correctly. So it's a bit of a tricky one. You just need to keep applying for a position within a care home or within the NHS to get your foot here in the UK.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Narendra Kumawat is asking, having an MC pin but need sponsorship.
Yeah, unfortunately, we are myself is unable to deal with that, but you can send your CV to
Hello at
hello@nursify.com.
Nursify.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then
Overseas, this would be under overseas opportunity and we'll happy to take care of it.
that's great.
Perfect. Okay, let's move on with the next questions. Then we are just left with few questions. Tanvir, so if you can, Tanvir, let us know how can Nursify help here. How is Nursify helping candidates over the various geographies or in the UK to take this step forward.
See, domestically, we are helping local domestic nurses help. Firstly, we want to help them with their career. We want to help them feel valued. We want to help them field, not under pressured, and help them fulfill their long-term career goals. Given that prime example of that nurse that I gave an example of, she really wants to go into the lead theatre practitioner type of roles, but was unable to one, afford the surgical first assistant, as well as her current employer wasn't able to help her get those qualifications. So that's when we intervened. We helped them with their career development and helping them fulfill their long-term career duties and as such. We, you know, we also help them, make sure that they feel valued in their organization, and they're working for a hospital who truly values them, with a great management and good work-life culture and balance as well.
Okay, that's great. So Tanvir, maybe you would like to explain the complete process or a complete journey for a professional who is looking out an opportunity in the US private healthcare sector. That would be better for our audience to know what are the steps involved, how they can reach us, how what kind of steps we'll be taking for them. So maybe just explain a little bit of the journey.
Yeah, so it all comes down to yourselves, as a nurse. You're fully qualified, got a degree, and working as a nurse currently in your home country. You're on your specialty field. That could be the theatre, scrub nurse, recovery, or registered nurse. Once you've done all of that, you have passed your IELTS. That would be a key step to do. You can privately do this, or join an organization. We can help you do that as well, and be fully committed and ready to be work abroad. um, you know, and just getting in touch with us, and then ensuring that all the documentations are there, ensuring that you've got the relevant experience as well as qualifications, and then we'll be able to assist you and help you with your with your career journey. That could be here in the UK or overseas in America, UAE, or Canada as well.
Perfect. That's great. I believe Tanvir, now our audience today have quite an idea about the domestic recruitment. What are the requirements? What should they be looking out for? What is the salary structure? What kind of shift patterns are there, and how's the work culture? I believe that's really important, right? In
Yeah.
today's world, it's really important to have a proper work-life balance, which we informed our audience through the difference between the NHS and private healthcare group.
Yeah.
So we are happy to take all the applications. We are happy to assist all the nurses who are looking out for domestic recruitment opportunities in the UK and overseas as well. Just explaining everyone once again, we are kind of slow on on overseas recruitment because of the vacancies. However, we haven't stopped it yet. So we are keeping everyone warm in our funnel and make sure as soon as we get the opportunity, we align the best possible job with their profile. So that's about it, Tanvir. Anything else would you like to highlight in today's webinar, or want to sum up anything?
Um, just wanna just this yeah, just because I'm getting the same opportunity, same questions come up. Um, the main thing overseas nurses need to take into consideration is that, you know, they have to keep their options open, even if it's come here in the UK working in a care home or working in a hospital. I would say, it's always good to get their foot in the door first, and then obviously enhancing the career from there. Um, it's going to be difficult, yes, it is. But if there's a will, there's always a way. Um, and we only look after the private hospitals at the moment, but hopefully in the near future, we'll be looking at stuff in the care homes as well as RMNs. That was a question that was earlier. And yeah, that's basically it.
Great, Tanvi. Thank you so much for taking
No
all the
worries.
questions and taking time from your busy schedule.
Yeah,
And
no
thank
worries.
you so much, audience, as well, for joining in this webinar today. And once again, I'm dropping my email address. Just drop your CVs or queries on that, and we'll be happy to take that. Okay, perfect, great. Again, thank you, Tanveer, once again, and we'll hope to see you soon again in our
Fantastic.
next UK to UK webinar.
Lovely. Thank you so
Okay.
much for having me.
Thank
Take
you
care,
so
guys, and
much.
good luck with everything.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.